Hello, welcome back to part 2.
I'll let you know.
It's all good. Alright, so after our Colin Kaepernick stuff, we're going to talk about Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph fight. You guys can start off with it.
I think that the media's done a good job of covering this, although the NFL doesn't want it to be covered, obviously,
It's going to happen.
because it's a negative reflection on the NFL. Like, people on the outside looking in just see two of the definition of an NFL guy is just being brutes and being stupid, you know? Like, oh, I'm gonna swing something at you and we're going to fight. That's what people think the NFL is, but the NFL is not that. It's a beautiful game, and it was disrespectful the way that Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph handled themselves.
Real quick, it wasn't a beautiful. It was an ugly game.
No, the
No, I'm
NFL
talking about
itself, the game of
okay.
football is a beautiful game. That game was not the greatest game, but like you just said, that was an ugly game all the way till the last 8 seconds of the game when these two guys decided to go at it. Mason Rudolph isn't entirely innocent in this. He did what he did. He treated Myles Garrett poorly, touching him, swinging his, like, trying to rip his own helmet off. But that doesn't justify what Myles Garrett did. I like what happened. I thought he should have been suspended the rest of the season, and it's probably going to fall into next season too. And it's probably going to
Probably
be
the first 4 games.
yeah, it's probably going to be a chunk of the beginning of next season. It's the Browns. I don't care. You just got to be the NFL and play good PR here. Make sure the players are safe.
I would like to go next. Not calling anyone out, but I did say multiple times that Rudolph started it. I would like to start off saying Myles Garrett made a football move, what you would call a football move.
On the sack, yes.
On the sack.
On the attempted sack, on the hit after the pass, yes.
Yes, it is a clean move. Do you guys agree or no?
I mean, dragging to the end is kind of questionable, but it's not like there was any malice intent in the hit itself, so I agree with you, yeah.
Okay.
Myles Garrett.
Therefore, if you watch it, Myles Garrett tackles. There's only 8 seconds left. He tries to sack Rudolph, but brings him down in such a way that he tries not to hurt Rudolph.
And he tries to drag out the clock.
As you can see, Myles Garrett rolls over to his back, has Rudolph on top of him, and then rolls down and tries to get up. That's where Rudolph instigates everything, makes it 10 times worse, twisting Myles Garrett's neck and trying to rip off his helmet. Now, if that stopped right there and Myles Garrett got up and walked away, Mason Rudolph would therefore be suspended. He would be fined.
Yep.
Excuse me. Now, if you're thinking about it, afterwards, Myles Garrett ripped Mason Rudolph's helmet off. Looking at that just now, that is also grounds for a suspension.
Mm-hmm.
As you can tell, I'm going step by step. Grounds for a suspension and a fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be a pretty heavy fine taking another player help.
Exactly.
And
Which both sides would be fine with. But for whatever reason, you're coming off of concussion protocol. You're cleared to play nonetheless. You just got done with a concussion. You are without your helmet running at somebody who just ripped it off because you tried to rip theirs off.
Who's being restrained by one of your linemen.
Who's already 1-on-1 with your lineman. Therefore, it's a 2-on-1.
And it was diffused at that point. If Rudolph doesn't sprint, diffused. But
Thank you. Rudolph, for whatever reason, runs at him, thinking that nothing's going to happen to him for whatever reason. Myles Garrett is in the wrong. He should get the heavier suspension.
Yes.
He should get the heavier fine. But you can't totally blame him for swinging. If it was a fist, nobody would be as mad, possibly. But if it was a helmet, yes, I understand.
it's
It's
technically
even
a
worse.
weapon. But
Yes.
That's what I was going to get at, is he used basically a weapon
Mm-hmm.
to a non-protected player. And another thing that I have, so here we go. We have just a random helmet on set here.
This is some solid... This hurts.
Here,
This hurts.
demonstrate. All right,
Yeah.
get it on.
No, we're not doing this. But this thing... Helmets... Solid. They hurt.
Pass me it. No, I was going to drop it and make a joke out of it, but I don't want to get hurt. All right,
Okay.
put it down.
The thing is, it's just... If Rudolph never instigated it, made the problem worse, that would not have happened. If Rudolph didn't rush the mound, that would not have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Pouncey. Did I get that right? The Steelers. He came around throwing punches and kicks.
Oh, Pouncey is a locker room hero, though.
He
Like,
is.
You love that.
He gets much praise, but not as much as a suspension that I would have thought. At least another game and a fine. You're throwing punches and kicks at somebody's helmet, yet could still injure their brain.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
He just used the weapon, and there's a reason why he's suspended out for the rest of the season. And,
Yeah.
and he could, of course, regret the actions, but we've all been there in the heat of competition to where we've done some stupid things.
Oh yeah.
And it's okay, because guess what?
We're not televised.
We're not televised, but when you're televised,
It's a
you
different
have to be
atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a
gentleman
different
about it, and
manner.
you have to realize that
It's a gentleman's game.
yes, and you have to understand at the end of the day what you did was wrong. You can't unchange it, so now you have to come back to the season, act like nothing happened, and then just try to behave when the press talks to you about it.
Yep. So just
Which I
reversing.
think he will, because he's a very well-mannered person outside the field.
Yeah. So summarizing all that, Rudolph should get something, a hefty fine or 1 to 2 game suspension, which it won't even bother the Steelers at this point.
You keep going. Look at the paper. Keep going.
Anybody else want to chime in on that, Nick?
I just feel they're both in the wrong. When I first saw the videos, I saw Myles Garrett, doing most of it. I didn't really see Mason Rudolph did what he did and the actions that, happened with that. But therefore, now that I did see what Mason Rudolph did and, that just isn't acceptable in general in real life.
On either side.
Just in general, not even in football. Just being as a normal human being. You don't do that. That's not gentlemanlike. You would love to play a game so beautifully, and the most highest, place that you could compete in, and then you danger yourselves, and you're making yourself look even worse. It's just not.
It was not a fun play to watch.
It's
as a
just
football
not.
fan.
Oh,
it's
no,
it's
definitely
not even human.
But the thing is, real quick, I'm gonna finish my part off.
Mhm.
It's just that the first time I saw it, I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch the entirety of the game. I won't lie. But the first time I saw the clip of Myles Garrett hitting Mason Rudolph in the head with a helmet, I was thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? What led to this? Because the only thing I feel like got prioritized first wasn't the whole instigation of the final 8 seconds of the final play. It was just Myles Garrett hitting him. So that I feel like he was unfairly judged at the moment, but it's still a bad action. But I feel like if you're going to show one part, show all of it.
Yeah, so coming down to it, they're both wrong. NFL is doing the right thing by suspending the guy who was kind of making the most publicity and doing what he did. But they're missing out on a pretty big part of it.
All right, so now we're gonna go into college football. You okay? Are you still going?
No, we're going into college football, and I'm a Bama fan.
Oh, okay. Well, Tua is injured. We do
Yes.
have to talk about that. One of the
That's
best
the
prospects.
paper toss.
I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I should just crumple this and burn it. But so Tua's hurt. Bama plays WCU. I'd even bother to look up what the hell that stands for. And then they play Auburn, ranked 16th as of right now
In the nation.
in the nation.
These are the games where they make the case as to why they should be in that top 4.
If they lose the Iron Bowl, I don't think they're top 4.
If they lose the Iron Bowl, they don't have a shot at making the playoffs.
If they do, they make a strong case, but it all depends on 2 teams, OSU and LSU.
LSU needs to win out.
Yes.
They need to win the rest of their games and show that we lost to the best team in college football.
Mhm.
And that'll give us a better case to get in. But OSU, I don't exactly know their schedule, but a loss or maybe 2 losses coming out of them within, I think they have 3 games or 2 games left to play.
Everyone has 2 games, I believe.
So they got 2 games left. If they get a loss in one of these, then
It would significantly help
it
your
would
chances.
it would boost it a lot. But you never want to be
Yeah,
banking.
on someone else losing.
Yeah, if you have to bank on another team's success or failure, then you don't really deserve the spot at that point. Although I believe that they still do, minus Tua. So, I mean, the 4 most exciting teams for me are pretty much who's there right now. I feel like you could kind of substitute Bama in there for...
I think they're better than Georgia, but Georgia did beat a Notre Dame team who was 8th at the time. And
which
Bama,
that skyrocketed them, yeah.
Bama did lose to like one of the top teams they ranked against, that they had ranked during the time they played. Of course, the SEC is probably the most dominant place for football, right?
Of course.
So you got
one of the better
LSU,
conferences, without a doubt.
Bama, Georgia, however in the top 5, right? And then now you have ACC locked up by Clemson.
Mhm.
And then you have the Big 12, I think it is, by OSU. Nothing really competing against them, right? I don't know.
Not
So,
off the top of the.
I just think that
Yeah.
the only reason Bama can somehow win, like go in the playoff, is
As if another
winning
SEC,
the SEC.
team.
And therefore they have to beat Auburn and hope LSU loses. But again, conference championships are very important, especially if they're the same record. If LSU is undefeated, they got it. It's just
Mhm.
they're gonna be number
Like I said, the
Yeah.
best case to get in is for LSU to win out
Mm-hmm.
because that shows we lost the best team in college football.
Yeah.
So them losing doesn't really make our case much better, especially without Tua,
Mm-hmm.
because they want the 4 best teams, and your quarterback's out, your stock drops.
But
Yeah.
I feel like if we can beat Auburn, that's gonna show that like, oh, maybe these guys don't need Tua. Maybe maybe a little something could happen and go
You guys,
our way.
I don't know how long Tua is out for. I'm assuming they want him to get back as soon as possible, especially with the end of the year. But
He's
if you
not
guys
playing
are
the rest of the
fourth,
season.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, it's good.
Well,
He had a.
if you
Hip
guys
surgery, yeah.
are in fourth,
Completely done.
LSU might be first. So it's either you're playing OSU or LSU. And you've already lost to LSU, so I don't think the committee's going to put you guys at fourth if LSU's number one, because it's like, okay, they've already beaten them.
It's gonna happen again, and now
Yeah.
that
And Georgia's there. Georgia's only have one loss. So, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
Is your
it-
guys' top four any different from what they have? Or
no. I mean, you could honestly substitute Bama with Georgia or vice versa, but it's honestly like it's set in stone right now. Until something crazy happens,
college
it's
football?
staying.
You got any different?
I think LSU's got the 1 seed, the number 1 spot on locks. Georgia might be 4. OSU might be 2.
I think Bama's better than Georgia. In all honesty, I just think the recent loss really affects, and the injury to Tua, of course, affects it.
Well, yeah, I mean it hurts, but at the end of the day, trying to be more of a football fan than a Bama fan. If Tua's not there and we played bad, if WCU competes with us, we're not making it. If we blow them out and then beat Auburn, we have a chance at
Mhm.
shooting that 4 spot. But other than that, the 4 most exciting teams in college football are right where they're supposed to be. I don't think there's, other than the Montana that just lost, or who was it? Minnesota that just lost. I mean, they were exciting.
Baylor
I give them
almost
props.
just lost. But those teams, in reality, they weren't going to have a shot unless they were undefeated.
Yeah, and I mean, even then, if they go up against a powerhouse LSU, or even if they go up against a non-top
If they
4,
just go up against an SEC school.
it's a blowout. And
Because
sad to say,
mid-tier, middle of the pack SEC schools always crack the top 50,
yeah,
Like
but
Old Miss put up 600 yards against LSU last week.
Ole Miss did have a good day. That
Yeah.
was a fun game to watch. There's a lot of explosive plays coming out of Ole Miss.
So it's like, you put up Minnesota against that, and let's see how they do. That's why that's why Bulls are good.
Mhm.
So you can see how good of a team it actually was instead of putting them in a playoff. But my thing is, I would have LSU 1, OSU 2, Clemson stays at 3, and then I have Bama at 4, because truly I think they have a great team still. And then if they compete, or if this WCU team competes or even beats Bama, then you drop them out completely. Like, they're still ranked top 10, top 8, but you drop them out of the playoff. And then especially if they lose to Auburn, it's going to be tough to make a case.
If they lose out, there's no chance.
Yeah.
At even top 10.
No. Maybe. Because you did lose against the top-ranked team. Auburn might, I don't know.
If you lose to a WCU, you're not top 10.
Okay.
I don't even know who they are. That's where I'm going from. But
Nick, anything change for you? You are a
I-
Clemson fan for the first time this year.
I think I agree with yours. I think Bama can't come up to that spot. They got a great coach behind them that knows how to coach players.
They do. They still have 5-star All-Americans around that locker
Yeah,
room,
but that
and
is
they
true.
have NFL talent.
like exactly what he said, he knows how to coach players. It's not necessarily that he knows how to coach a team or he runs a set system. He knows how to coach his players specifically, and I like that you touched on that because their coach shouldn't really dictate whether or not they make it. But when you look at it as the committee, you say
If they
he's
still
been here a lot.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. If he gets here, he might win this first game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you want to see.
Honestly, if I'm part of the committee right now, you have your 5 teams set. Bama, Georgia, Clemson, LSU, and OSU.
And then you watch. You pretty much watch.
You watch the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the year,
And you see
you
who plays
watch
better.
conference championships. Maybe Minnesota. I don't see them making it. They're 7th right now, I believe. Baylor, they have 1 loss. I think everyone else has a 1 loss now. No, other than LSU and OSU are undefeated. So, it's just these 5 teams, and
It's
then
a tight
Bama
race.
lost to a number 2 team in the country. So it is what it is. And if Tua doesn't get hurt last week, which you can't blame anyone for that situation. Player wanted to play, coach wanted to pull him out, and he decided to say, Tua, you can play. But you can't blame anyone for that. It's going to happen. He's gotten injuries before. You can say you saw it coming, but you kind of can't. Because
Not to that extent.
Not to that extent.
No. You might have thought he might have re-injured the ankle or the foot.
But a whole hip surgery is...
Yeah, no, you never expect that. But if you're Nick Saban, I agree with him in that situation. And I've had conversations with this about with multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 2-minute drill. It's a young quarterback. He's a draft prospect.
Top draft. Yep.
You're a coach. You say, hey, bud, you feeling all right? You sure you could do this? He said, if he tells you yes and he's convincing, his draft stock goes up if he finishes that drive.
I still think he's the top prospect, but maybe not the top prospect.
Not this year. I think he's going to stay at Bama one more year.
You know, Tua's that kid to where I think that he could stay all 4 years, and especially with a season-ending injury, the only way it can go is up, or it can drastically drop down. There's no way he's like, okay, maybe he's like the second best quarterback or the 4th or the 5th. It's either this kid's number 1 or he's 10th. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those situations where he's hurt,
But
his hip is going to re-aggravate.
He's still definitely getting drafted.
Yeah,
I
think,
definitely teams are going to risk it.
You look at the Zion situation, right? He got hurt. Can you imagine he didn't play the rest of the year, right? And he just essentially he's still going to go to the NBA. But if
Football's different though.
I know it's different, but I'm saying like Bosa, for example, he got hurt from OSU last year, and then he just completely dropped out of the school and worked out. It's still a draft prospect and is one of the leaders on that 49ers defense.
It wasn't as close to the draft as this is. It wasn't final 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I know, but I think I'm not saying Tua drops. I think kids should stay in school. I think student athletes, especially if you play football, you should stay in school. That's a different topic I would like to discuss one day. But I think that Tua should stay all 4 years because it's not like basketball. It's where you play 40 games. You play 16 and 18, 18 games in football. So I think that it is a harder, like a more grindy sport, I guess. But you're not playing as nearly as much games, and if you're Tua's talent, you can't really unseize that.
I feel like one more year would definitely help him,
Yeah.
just to show that hey, this kid, multiple different realities of what could happen.
Yeah.
Hey, this kid came off Bo Jackson's career-ending injury, even though it wasn't exactly the same, but it's still to the point to where. That's a major injury. Mm-hmm. That's a serious injury. But it could be like, wow, this kid is phenomenal. Coming off this injury, played a whole college football season, did not get hurt. I think I'm going to give it a chance. Or, ooh, he played one more year. Maybe he should have went drafted. But now that he re-injured that whole entire leg, whatever happened, there's a 50-50 on what's going to happen. It is scary to say because kid has talent. Kid is really good. But the thing is just injuries. Like, if it reactivates, he's done. If he could prove that he doesn't get hurt through the whole season, like something like major like that, like a little ankle sprain, something. But just one more year at college just to settle it off. Make people actually want to draft you.
So, you said your top 4. We'll kind of generalize that there's a top 5, and 3 through 5 are kind of
intertwinable.
Anything could happen.
Move. Is there really anything else that you'd like to touch on? College football, professionals, NFL, NBA,
Other
MLB?
than that, UConn beat Florida in
Yes.
basketball, and we are from UConn.
We are from UConn.
We are from Connecticut. But other than that, this is a good time to watch sports. Honestly,
We say this
college
after every
basketball
podcast.
just started too. So there's really not one day you can sit by and say you didn't watch.
Like, there's no games on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean basketball's every day now. Football's Monday, Thursday, Sunday. College is Saturday. College basketball is any day of the week. So
your plate's always full.
your plate is exactly.
And whatever
Plate's
palette you tend to go towards basketball, football, you got pro and college going on right now. Find
Pick
it and
one.
have fun.
And hop on, if you see a team on the rise, hop on that bandwagon. Don't be called a bandwagoner. It's the
Get
worst thing
there
to do in
early.
sports. Get there
Get there early.
And anything else you guys want to add?
Well, quick NBA touch. Wishing the best for Victor Oladipo.
Mm-hmm.
Hope he comes back to that form that he was in. I'd love to see the explosive plays that he had He's definitely going to come back, in my opinion, as a better shooter. We see a lot of guys with lower body injuries that can come back and still be the same shooter. He was a decent three-point shooter, but he's going to really refine his game here, and I hope that he does great. Prayers out to him. Hope he succeeds. Best to him. And
Get
all
better
that.
soon, please.
Yeah, get on that team
I mean, it's
soon.
not like the Pacers need you, but that would help. Grateful.
We'd love
Hopefully
to see
Melo
it.
could do good up for my fantasy. I'm projected to lose by him by a crap ton because D'Lo gets hurt. I pick up Gordon Hayward. He has one good game, gets hurt. Kyrie gets hurt. I'm hurting. I need help.
Nick, you got anything other than fire Brett Brown?
Robert Brown.
And trust the process.
The process, Robert Brown.
All right, and, Zach, you got anything to say about your favorite sports teams here?
No, I'm just glad Celtics are doing good. They're getting the job done. Whether I'm not gonna lie, a lot of games are close. A lot of them were point differentials, but we are getting the job done. We're showing that we can come out on top.
Compete,
Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Fourth quarter team, the Celtics are showing to
All
be.
I'm saying is we play the Mavericks 82 times a year. This
You guys are
season
gonna
we
have a
beat
positive
82-0.
record.
So that's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed. And,
Thanks for watching.
thank you,
Leave a
man.
like, try and subscribe. We post a lot. It's only money.
We're trying to get a schedule now down pat, so hopefully everyone could be here. But thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Anything to say to the peeps?